Tuesday. I'm going to start off with my big superstar shout out today, and that is for Emily, William and Jaden P. Well done to you three. Emily, I'm giving you a big shout out because you presented your work beautifully. Okay, so you have used your ruler, you have missed some lines in your work as well to make it look presentable. Okay, next one is for William, and William, this is because you're so creative with your answers. Your answers are out of this world. And my last one is for Jaden P, because Jaden, you work so hard every day, and all of the teachers in year 3 see you sitting at your desk doing your work. So well done to you three. Okay, so to get our brains nice and warmed up today, we are going to do the alphabet. And I bet you're thinking, well, Miss Morgan, I'm in year 3, I know the alphabet already. So there is a little bit of a challenge with our warm-up today. We're going to say the alphabet together, just so we remember the order of it, but after, I want you to time yourself, okay? And when you time yourself, how quickly you can do the alphabet, I want you to write that time down on your whiteboard using your whiteboard pen, and then send me a picture of it and we can see who can say the alphabet in the fastest amount of time. Okay, so big voices, let's do the alphabet together first because this will help us with today's learning and you'll see why in a moment. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y and Z. And now faster. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so I want you to time yourselves and see how fast you can do it. Why don't you have about 5 goes and see what your fastest time is and then write it down for me. Year 3, I can't wait to find out who has said the alphabet in the fastest time and correctly. Okay, so what you will need for today is your CPG book, which we are nearly finished with now. We're getting there. You need your purple book, pencil or a pen, a ruler for your lines, and if you have one, not everybody has one at home, but if you have one, get your dictionary. So Scarlett, I saw you the other day, didn't I? And you were showing me your brand new dictionary at home. So if you haven't got that now, click pause on the video and go and get it. But if not, don't worry about it. We can use the internet. Okay, now we've got those brains warmed up. Let's read our learning question together for Tuesday, the 2nd of February. So big voices. Can I find the definition of a word to help me to understand a text? Now, in year 3, we've done definitions before, I'm sure we have. And I know that a definition tells me the meaning of a word. So when we have a text, and we know that a text is a piece of writing, sometimes we have to highlight vocabulary or words that we don't understand, okay? So that we can find the meaning of those words. We can find the definition of those words. And then this helps us to understand the text a little bit more. So for today, our task is to find the definition of these words. And Miss Morgan has taken these words out of today's text, which we'll do a little bit later, because they're quite difficult in year 3. So I want us to look for the definition of these words in something. What can I look for the definition of a word in? I'm sure I had one. That's right. I can look in a dictionary, or I can look in a dictionary online. So if you have a dictionary at home, I'm going to show you now how you can find these words in it. Okay, so hit pause on the video and get your dictionary. If not, get your iPad, tablet or laptop, wherever you have the internet on at home. Okay, year 3, I have got my dictionary ready here. And can anybody remember what my first word I was looking for its definition? It was custom. So, if I am using a dictionary, I know that I've got to find the first letter of the word that I'm looking for. So what is my first letter? It's a C, a curly K. And then I'm going to look at my next letter as well to help me to find it in the dictionary, which is a U. So let's look for the curly K, or the C first. Now I know my alphabet, A, B, C. C is near the beginning of my alphabet. So I'm sure, because a dictionary goes in alphabetical order, that C will be somewhere near the beginning. So it's after B, but before D. So if you have a look here, I've got Don, which starts with a D. So I know that C is going to come before that. I found C. Now, at the top of my page in my dictionary, it says creditable. That isn't custom, is it? No. Creditable. So I'm looking for CU for custom. This says CR for creditable. Where does R come in the alphabet? That comes near the end in the alphabet. But U is after R in the alphabet. So I'm sure that custom must be after this. I have found words starting with CU. Okay, so now I'm going to look for my next letter in my word custom, which is an S. And at the minute, I've got the word culinary, so that's C-U-L. Al comes before S in the alphabet, so I'm sure that custom will be after this. Have a look for some words to see if you can see them spelt with C, U, S. I found custard, custodian, custody. I have found custom. Wonderful. And then it gives me a number 1 and it says the definition. Now you've got to use your squinty eyes here because the writing is quite little. And it says, the usual way of behaving or acting. That is my definition. So what I'm going to do now is to get my purple book and I'm going to write the definition for custom. But don't do it quite yet because Miss Morgan is going to show you how she wants it to look. Before we move on to our purple book task year 3, I'm going to show you how you can find the definitions for words using an online dictionary. So if you've got a tablet, phone or a laptop or anything that you're watching this video on, you need to now go onto the internet. Okay, so on Miss Morgan's tablet here, on her iPad, her internet is there. Okay, luckily mine goes straight to Google. If yours doesn't, try and find Google for me. Okay, so now I've got my Google search box there and I need to find an online dictionary but for children. Okay, so I'm going to type in kids dictionary. So I know that kids dictionary is spelt K-I-D-S for kids. So K-I-D-S space. And I know that dictionary starts with D-I-C. D-I-C. And look, it's come up for me in my search options there. So I can just click on Kids Dictionary. And you will see Kids Britannica pop up as your first result at the top. So have a look for Kids.Britannica and that is your best dictionary that you can find because it comes up with our search dictionary box right here. So I know that custom is spelt C-U-S-C-U-S-T-O-M. T-O-M. And I will click on my little looking glass and it comes up with lots of definitions there. So the definition for custom you will find after the number 1. Okay, the usual way of doing things or the usual practice of a person or group. I would always write number 1 definition rather than 2 or 3, okay, because that's the easiest one to use. Okay, Year 3, we're getting ready to do our purple book task now. So if you haven't got it already, go and run and get your purple book and just hit pause on this video. Okay, I hope you're ready now. So, I have already written today's date, Tuesday, the 2nd of February. And remember that February is spelt very strange. It's spelt like Feb-ruary. And then I have written my title of comprehension. I've also used my ruler to make some lovely lines underneath. Well done to Emily. Emily, you are brilliant for using your ruler at home. Okay, so if I remember rightly, my activity is I've got to find the definition for 5 words which I will put on the board for you after I have modelled your writing. Okay, so to make it look lovely and neat, I'm going to miss a line and then I'm going to write number 1. And I remember that's my first word I was looking for the definition of is custom. And I'm going to write the word custom and use a semicolon. And they are just 2 dots, one on top of each other. Okay, and then I'm going to write the definition of custom right next to that semicolon. So if I look carefully for my word again, custom, number 1. The usual way of behaving or acting. So I'm going to write my definition in now. The usual way of behaving. And if you notice, I'm using my neatest handwriting. I'm joining my letters up. Or acting. So now that I've got my definition of custom, I know what it means. It's the usual way of behaving or acting. So I'm sure at Sandon, we've got our Sandon Rock rules, and that is a custom that we follow. The usual way of behaving or acting. Okay, so I'm going to put the words up for you on the board now, and you have got 5 words to find the definitions for. Okay. So we have got custom, tail, and not a tail like this, it's a different one. Feasting, broad, or scowl. Okay, so remember, if I'm looking in my dictionary, I have to look for the first couple of letters. So in tail, I'd look for the T and the A. Feasting, I'd look for the F and the E. Okay. So good luck with finding your definitions of your words, and I can't wait to see it presented lovely in your purple books. Okay, Year 3, Miss Morgan is standing in the way of the board because I have found my definitions for my words. And if you haven't already done that yet, then make sure that you pause this video and don't go any further because I'm going to reveal my answers. Okay, so these are my definitions for my words. You need to check and see if you've got them correct, and you can give them a tick. And if you haven't, you can just correct them, can't you? Okay, so we've done number 1, so let's look at number 2. A tale, something told, so like a story. Okay, number 3, feasting. Its definition is to eat plentifully. Plentifully means quite a lot. Number 4, broad, not narrow, skinny. So giants are quite broad. The Hulk is quite broad because he's muscly and strong. Okay, but then you can have some really skinny characters. Okay, like Mickey Mouse. He's not broad because he's quite skinny. And number 5, scowl, to make a frowning expression. So when Miss Morgan's really angry at you in the class, which doesn't happen very often, she scowls. Okay, this is scowling. Right, Year 3, now that you've done your purple book task, we can move on to our CPG book. So if you haven't got it, just hit pause on the video and go and get it. Okay, so we're nearly at the end of it now. And we are on page number 30. We've done a whole 30 pages of learning. Wow. And it's called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. So we know that a knight, they ride on horses, okay, and they usually have weapons, so like swords, okay, and they go and fight in battles. So it sounds like a very exciting story, this does. So let's read a little bit about it together, and you can use your finger to follow the writing. Sir Gawain and the Green Knight is a very old story featuring the legendary British King Arthur and his group of knights. I wonder if you've heard of King Arthur before. Part of the story is told below. In it, Arthur and his knights have just sat down to a New Year's Eve feast, and Arthur wants one of his knights to tell him a story. Oh, wow. So I'm going to read a little bit of the text with you, Year 3, and then you can read the rest on your own. So let's read it together. The great hall fell silent as Arthur rose to his feet. You know the custom, he began. I will not take one mouthful nor one sip of wine until I am told of some new and stirring tale. Some wonderfully outlandish adventure, some extraordinary feat of arms so far unheard of, and it must be true. I don't want you to go making it up, just so you can get at the food. Some of you are good at tall stories. They laughed at that, but as they looked around it became clear that none of them had a tale to tell. So King Arthur really wants somebody to tell a tale, tell a story here, but it's got to be true, he said. Do you remember that? Okay, so you can read now from the word what in your text. Okay, so you haven't got too much to read. Okay, so you can hit pause and do that now for me, Year 3. Okay, I hope you've read that text because it's very important for us to answer our questions using this information. And today, I'm only going to ask you to do 1, 2, 3 questions. So don't fill the page of the answers. I know some of you are very eager to, but 3 questions, please. So, number 1, what is the custom that Arthur describes? So, we found the definition of custom, which is the usual way of behaving or acting. So, what is the custom that Arthur describes? So this is a retrieval. I would look for the word custom and take that from your text. So have a look at your text, and I'm sure it says it in the first couple of lines. You know the custom, he said. Okay. So what is the custom? What is Arthur expecting the other people to do? How is he expecting the rest of the people around him to act? Okay, number 2. What do you think the phrase tall stories means in lines 5 to 6? So again, this is a retrieval. I want to take those words from the text so that it gives me an idea about what the phrase tall stories means. So I'm going to look on lines 5 and 6. So there's line 5. And I have found the words tall stories. Now it says on the sentence before, and it's very important to read the sentences around the phrase you are looking at. And it must be true too. What must be true? Was it the story that must be true? I don't want you to go making it up just so you can get at the food. Some of you are good at telling tall stories. So I don't think it means very long stories, very tall. What does it mean? If he wants true stories and they don't give him true stories, what does tall stories mean? Okay, in your third and final question, write down one word that describes a sound. So you know a sound you can hear in lines 16 and 17. So you need to look for lines 16 and 17 and look for the word that gives you a sound. They heard a sudden roaring of wind. There's a big clue in that sentence. Okay. So, remember 3 questions only, year 3, and then tomorrow we will carry on with the same text, and then we're nearly at the end of this book, okay? So I can't wait to see your purple bookwork. I get very excited every time I go to look at it, and have a lovely Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!